Both of these dudes, you could tell they wanted to show out. They wanted to, right? But when you get in there, it's a little more complicated than that. William Gomis, he had the good striking, but he was kind of being too flashy. You know, that's kind of his style, right? But the flashiness was lending to these like weird entanglements where then they get clinched up and now you're in a weird spot. And then Jarno Errns is trying to throw this big throw and then he ends up getting reversed and follow through. And I'll tell you what, this was basically a good grappling display. But the big storyline of this fight specifically is I can't remember the last time a judge legitimately, not should have, but legitimately gave out a 10-10. And guess what? In that third round, when Errns had Gomis in that tight triangle, the judge gave him a 10-10. And I want to know, do you think that's merited? Do you think that, like, merit-wise, objectively, Errns deserved to have a 10-10 round in a fight where you didn't really do much, you had a dangerous submission, but you didn't complete it? So, you know.
It's weird, man, because was that triangle deep? Hella deep. And he had an option to go for the arm as well. But Dana White himself even said you don't get points for submission attempts. You get points for submissions.
Yeah.
And that, at the end of the day, was an attempt because you saw William Gomis doing everything correctly to get out of there. So I don't think it was merited, man. The 10-10, I don't think it was merited as much as I do think you should get points for submission attempts because you're not just laying on your back taking whatever punishment's given to you. If the boss says, you don't get points for submission attempts.
Well, that's kind of my whole thing, man, is that it's like you kind of took a little bit of the shine off of Gomis's, his UFC debut. You took a little bit of the shine off of his win. So he's going to look back, I won on majority. But it's like, bro, but you won the fight. You won the first 2 rounds, like pretty handedly. You know what I mean? It wasn't really a question. AJ, you mentioned that Errns in his prior loss that he kind of camped out, back on the ground, just closed guard and just hangs out and just chills. Do you think that this is going to be one of those big learning lessons for him to be able to kind of move forward? Because maybe if he was a little more active in his guard, maybe working for some sweeps, reversals, whatever, it could have been a different story. It just felt like Gomis, he was stronger, even though his lanky, skinny frame, man, it was just deceiving because Errns looked like he was a little built out. Gomis, you were just kind of like, I was a little worried about the grappling, but he looked like he had the power advantage. So do you think it could have played out differently, or maybe Gomis was just a little too powerful?
I think if Errns would have started the attempts earlier in the night, the round 1, round 2, when he's getting controlled and dominated there, instead of last ditch effort, 40 seconds, because he was in that triangle for quite a long time. If he would have done that, then it would have swayed Gomis to be like, all right, this dude is dangerous on the ground. He could probably catch me with something. Let's just keep this fight standing instead of always getting the better. Because you're right, man. Gomis did have, even when Errns was trying to get the flips and the tosses, Gomis had the power. He looked like he was just manhandling him and tossing him around, and that's what he was getting the better of the situations in. So, yeah, will this be a learning lesson for Errns? I think so.
Well, let me just give you a little bit of experience right here, man, just because this is one thing that I feel like people, they see it on TV, but you don't understand how taxing physically it is, man. It's hard to keep consistently throwing up dangerous submission attempts, especially ones that utilize your legs, like a triangle choke. And the reason why is because you got to think about it. If you have a long submission attempt as a triangle, you're squeezing your thighs, you're squeezing your legs, your calves, every part of your legs are just trying to crush this man's head, trying to be able to take away any space there so you could choke the man out. And guess what happens? If it doesn't work, you got to stand up and fight after that. And your legs are not going to work no more. Your legs is going to be done. So you got to pick and choose your spot. So I don't blame Errns because it's the last thing you want to do, AJ, right? Be in a cage, fighting another man who wants to kill you, and you got nothing there for him. You know what I mean? So it's like you got to be strategic right there. So to see how tight it was in the end, I wouldn't be surprised if he gassed his legs out after that. But I will say this was a big win by William Gomis, decision win. I think we got some room to grow. I definitely think we got some room to grow. But listen, man, this is fun division, man. Fun division. I will just say that. So big win. William Gomis right there. Now,